Okay, first of all, a little bit about production quality. I know my audio has been out of sync. I've been using quick upload, and it does that. And sometimes I'm still going to use it. I'm just relying on YouTube because to me this is a stream of consciousness medium, and it doesn't mean I don't try to put quality into it, but it doesn't mean it's a certain kind of quality. So in production values, where I'd always like to have it just perfect, that's not my priority. Now when people send me advice, like the AS sent me some advice, I appreciate that. Maybe if you make it easier for me to know how to fix something, I will fix it. But actually, I know how the software works and why the problem is. I did have, I think, one video that was out of sync from the editing software I'm using now, and but mostly it's been because I used quick upload. Now the frogs too. People have brought the frogs up a couple times. Now I've decided to put frogs in my videos because frogs live where. They're an invasive species. People hate them, and actually, I'm proud to not be paranoid about them, so whatever. Alright, they're going to be a part of this island for a long time. Can't get rid of them. They hatch straight from eggs into little frogs. They don't need to swim around in a pond. They're impossible to intervene with. At least, nobody knows how. Okay, so besides that, I actually saved one from the cat yesterday. Okay, now I want to talk to 2bsirius and about 2bsirius. Um, uh, First of all, 2b, you're saying we aren't going to have a meeting of minds on this. Fine, I'm not going to try to make you think a certain way, but I think actually, first of all conversations end that way, where you find out what you don't agree on. But they also end with finding out what you do agree on. And sometimes, and they really should end with both things, and so that is inevitable, but it's also something that's said to end the conversation. Now again, I think we agree a little bit more, we understand each other at least, because I'm just saying that you could appreciate astrology like any mythology. There's elements that, the Greek mythology where they personified natural forces and deified the human passions. There's a lot of interesting stories came out of that, right? Okay, so that makes astrology defensible. I'll assume you don't discount the value of cultural mythologies from around the world, right? And if I put, one of the Greek gods, a statue in a courtyard in the house that I have in my mind where I can afford such things, uh, would you worry that I was going to fall for the Greek pantheon? Maybe you would. I suppose there's some people that are particular enough that they would. But I would consider that a nice use of symbolism, not because the system told you to believe that, but because you like that particular God. Maybe there was a reason you put it there. It meant something to you. Now, I have been very careful. You have no reason to think that I'm a true believer in astrology, except that I mention it in a not very derisive way, and I even suggested improvements. Now, I would do this with Christianity. I can adopt Christianity and tell a Christian how to improve um, their image of Christ in their mind. Why would I not be able to do that? Now, I am more tolerant to astrology, certainly, and maybe mythologies in general, than you seem to want to be. Um, Astrology in particular, because, I went through a phase where I thought astrology was some sort of an insult to astronomy. But then I realized the history of it all, and no, it's great that astronomy rose out of it. I mean, if we didn't have astronomy yet and it was all mixed up in astrology, that would be depressing. I would not approve that. But that's not what we have. We have astrology in its own as an appreciation of the stars, primarily, in the most approximate sense. Now, if somebody is crazy, like maybe you're worried though that, okay, he wouldn't go believe in the Greek pantheon, but maybe he does, or some other person is going to feel enabled to believe in astrology and be crazy about it. Listen, you can't blame that on astrology. Okay, crazy people will use whatever they can get their hands on to act out their craziness. Now, maybe astrology has enabled some people, and they had to get over that. Fine, they would have to get over whatever other crutch they went to as well. And the point is, I have only really described some of the practical benefits like you would find looking through a mythology. Like just the fact that it's self-reflective. Anything where you think about your life for a moment is valuable. You take the ideas, you put them into the language of the horoscope or the I Ching reading and stuff, and then you get ideas out from the combination of what you've put in there, and then reading that, and then it's like, okay, it's saying things about my life. Well, why does it know about your life? Because you put the information about your life into it, and it comes out. It's just a transformation, right? So if you're crazy, then yeah, it can amplify or distort your craziness even more. But that's not, it's like blaming the lens for the laser burning the wrong thing or something, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't blame lenses in general. I mean, maybe that particular lens failed or the mount of it came off, but you know what I mean? You don't blame the actual fact that you can reflect something. That's the crazy person's responsibility. Okay, and I say crazy people should stay away from divination. If you have any paranoia or anything, and it's not like, oh, but how will the crazy person know? Crazy people, there's signs that you're being crazy before you lost it so much that you can't. Now, not some people, they're straight to the so crazy they don't know. But we're talking about the huge number here of people in the middle, how most of us are, even if we're a little bit crazy. So, yeah, if you're worried, geez, I'm acting a little crazy, yeah, don't go to divination. If you have a crazy relative getting into divination, fine. But just realize, part of that is because they're not stable enough for it. A healthy person, a healthy mind, if they want to read their horoscope every day because it helps them enjoy a cup of coffee, then more power to them. Why not? Yeah, I'm a realist and materialist enough to catch myself if I found myself like believing, oh, 5-star day. This is a good day. I'm going to drive my motorcycle, which I also have in my mind, 300 miles an hour. Because 5 stars, nothing could go wrong. If I was doing stuff like that, I would go, oh yeah, this is not got a healthy thing, because that's well beyond what I was talking to you about, which is that, there's interesting characters. All of the characters of the mythological characters that the sun travels through in the ecliptic, they're all interesting um, archetypes. And so anyway, yeah, you just seem overly sensitive about it, and I really think maybe it comes down to, what is our disagreement? And maybe that's it. Maybe that's it, because I think this is another one of those public relations kind of public service message thing where you just don't want someone like me, who's usually advocating logic and empirical reality, to be saying that it's okay to toy around with astrology. But sadly, I'm skeptical enough that I think it is okay. For some people, okay, no. But this isn't a channel just for people that are unstable. And, I'm happy to add a portion for it. So for the unstable people, yeah, don't believe that. If you find yourself believing too much in any system like this, certainly any metaphysical system, but really any system, to that point where you're crazy, it's behind your craziness, then don't do it. Okay. Divination, not for weak-minded people to do in a healthy way. So, but I'm not ready to assume most people um, are in that danger. I think most people can handle it. I think even ancient peoples often, like in the Hellenic times, didn't really believe these things wholeheartedly. They knew that it was just, stories and lessons and things. And as they grew up, a lot of people matured past it. And their actual philosophy of life was whatever it was. It wasn't, we mistake the oppression of like Catholicism at its worst with every religion. And they're not all like that. A lot of these things were meant to be taken with in a life that had other things to it, other mythologies to draw from, and other ideas, that were important to it, and not be the be-all, end-all, and justify, terrible atrocities and all that kind of worry that happens when you have the religious neurosis arise. Not all religions have fallen to that, and not all these mythologies or even religions as we understand it, considering that we think of Catholicism and the Christian history as indicative of how religions are, which we really should not generalize that. Okay, not that you do, but just train of thought kind of stuff at the end there. But hopefully you saw the point that was specifically for you, 2bsirius, and thanks for the conversation. Cheers.